No, he never texted me.
I don't know what I'll have.
Shorter people.
Ready? Good afternoon. Let me thank all of you for being here, all our command policy, as well as news media and all those who are in attendance here. We come today to honestly talk to you about two storms. At the same time, we were receiving yesterday information from the president on a declaration here in Chatham County. We were receiving from the governor state of emergency. And so today what we want to do is want to outline to you what is happening with the remnants of Debbie, and then get into what is expected, all right, to come. And so at this time I'm going to call Director Jones to come up so that he can take us through Debbie first, and then we'll go from there to what we can expect from Hurricane Helene. And then we're going to have Dr. Watts come up to talk from the school board standpoint. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the chairman mentioned, we did get word yesterday that the president has signed a major federal declaration, disaster declaration, for Chatham County and several other counties in the state of Georgia to cover the public assistance as well as individual assistance from Hurricane Debbie. Okay, I want to make sure that we're focusing on Debbie right now. So the president did sign a major disaster declaration as a result of Hurricane Debbie. What that does is it allows both government entities, non-governmental organizations, and the general public to work with the state and the federal government for some disaster relief. To qualify for additional services, human services as well as personal services, and also to receive some financial assistance when it comes to the response and also the recovery efforts from Hurricane Debbie. So for our general public, there is a website to where you can go and you can apply to go ahead and start working through the process for federal assistance. That website is disasterassistance.gov, disasterassistance.gov. It is active now. And if you had damages or financial hardships from Hurricane Debbie, you can go to, again, disasterassistance.gov and start applying for some federal assistance through that website. If you do not have access to the internet or to a computer that allows you to get to the internet, you can also use a phone number. It's 1-800-621-3362. Again, 1-800-621-3362. In addition to that, we are working with the state and federal government to come in sometime in the next couple of weeks to set up a disaster recovery center where if you can't use a phone or if you can't use the internet to get to either of these and file for federal assistance, you can actually come on site to the disaster recovery center. So we're working with the state on the timeline of that. We don't have the timeline set up yet, but we are working on solidifying the venue as well as the timeline for where people can come and actually apply in person. Okay, so that's Hurricane Debbie and the federal declaration for individual assistance and also public assistance.
Let Mayor Johnson say something since they sent something to the city of Savannah.
Okay,
Because, yeah, Debbie's going to affect basically the city of Savannah.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Mr. Jones, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. So obviously this is a very big deal for us. Individual assistance is approved by the president, and this is the ground level assistance that people need, and particularly those in the Bradley area that were really affected by the flooding. This creates an opportunity. Areas in Tremont Park. Of course, receipts are everything. So if you've already appropriated money, spent money, you have to have those receipts, and then just follow the process. The website is pretty easy to navigate. But again, this is big news for our community. We certainly thank the Biden administration, of course, FEMA, GEMA, SEMA, and all the other alphabets in between, because you have to have everything. You have to make your case in order for the president to approve it. So we appreciate it.
All right, now let me ask the media, if you want to ask any questions now about Debbie, because once we shut Debbie down, we're not coming back down. Any questions about Debbie? From the media? None? Okay, go.
Okay. Hearing none, we're switching focus to what is now Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene became a hurricane at the 11 o'clock advisory today. So we are intently watching it, and as well as everybody else throughout the region, throughout the state. So we're monitoring each advisory that comes out regarding Hurricane Helene and evaluating what those impacts are to our community and communicating that information out to our partners. So Hurricane Helene is expected to undergo rapid intensification as it continues to enter into the Gulf. It is a Category 1 hurricane right now. They are forecasting it to become a Category 3, a very strong Category 3, before it makes landfall on the Florida Panhandle. It is a very fast-moving storm. So once it actually makes landfall, it should come through our area roughly in about about 16 to 18 hours. So it is a very fast-moving storm. So it should begin having impacts to Chatham County sometime Thursday afternoon, evening, and overnight into the early morning hours of Friday. So there's a lot of focus on the National Hurricane Cone of Uncertainty. Many people have seen that, and they say, well, Chatham's not in the cone, so it's not coming here. Well, the cone is a little misleading if you don't understand how to read the cone. The cone actually tells you where the center of circulation could be at any given point along that track. It doesn't actually represent the size of the storm. So with the cone of uncertainty, if it takes a path that is more eastward, then we're going to get quite a bit more impacts to our area than what we're currently forecast. If it takes a shift to the west, then obviously we're going to get a little bit less. But on the current forecast track, all of the convection, or most of the convection, most of the high winds, and certainly the dangerous part of that storm is that right front quadrant, and it is forecast to come over the top of Chatham County. So don't just look at that error cone. That error cone is only attached to that black line that goes up to the middle of that cone, the official forecast track. So that cone only shows where the eye should be, or where the forecast track should be. So the greatest threat from this particular storm for our area is tornadoes. I mentioned the right front quadrant is the most dangerous part of any hurricane, and with that coming over the top of Chatham County, it presents the greatest threat for tornadoes. They're very hard to predict because you've got a lot of cold air and warm air that's colliding, and tornadoes can form at a moment's notice with hardly any warning at all. So with it coming in overnight, it's going to be hard to see them as well. So we're very cautious, and we're very concerned about the amount of tornadoes that this system could produce for Chatham County. So as you are monitoring the storm, as you're monitoring through your favorite media outlet, your favorite internet source, we want to make sure that you are using official sources to get information, and also to make sure you are using that information for informed decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. So if we do go into a tornado warning, I encourage you to find a location in your home, a safe place in your home, to where you can hunker down, an interior room. If you have a basement in your home, go to your basement. We want to make sure that you're in a safe location. And again, this could occur anytime tomorrow night. It could be 8 o'clock, it could be 2 o'clock in the morning. So just be mindful of that, and know that you have a place to go should a tornado warning be issued for the county. Take time now to secure items in your yard. This is a hurricane event. It's supposed to be a tropical storm by the time it gets to us. So there are high winds associated with this system. So go ahead tonight, secure those loose items that may be in your yard. A lot of people have started decorating for Halloween. You may want to take those inflatables and put them in your garage for the night. We certainly don't want you to lose any of your property, and we don't want your property to become a windborne hazard for somebody else. So just take a look tonight when you get home, walk around your yard, anything that could easily be blown around. We encourage you to go ahead and secure those tonight. We are expecting 2 to 4 inches of rain associated with this storm. They'll come in bands. It's not going to be a continuous rainfall event. It'll come with one of the bands associated with the storm. It'll rain, then it'll subside. Another band will come through. Rain will be associated with that band as well. Also, with any tropical system, there's always a significant challenge or a significant potential for power outages, and we have Georgia Power here with us today, and they're going to offer a few comments about power outages. For concerns out at Tybee and those on the island, we're not expecting a significant flooding event, even though there is a storm surge associated with this. But the tide gauge at Fort Pulaski is supposed to be around 9.2 feet, which is a normal tide, maybe slightly above normal, but we're not anticipating a significant amount of coastal flooding associated with this. Now, as the rain comes through, those heavy rain bands, they could produce some localized flooding in some of the common areas that we see with any severe thunderstorm that comes through our area. So those can be anticipated, but it's something that is common to the governments, it's common to the public safety, and it's common to our citizens throughout the county. The county has opened up sandbag stations. There's actually several sandbag stations throughout the county, and I know some of the municipalities are here to talk about that, but the county has opened up a sandbag station. It's across from the Aquatic Center on Sally Moo Drive, and they are available now. So they have sandbags, they have sand available now. You do need to bring your own shovel. We do have a limited supply of shovels at that particular site, so we encourage you to bring your own shovel. There are no pre-filled bags available, so if you are interested in sandbags, you'll have to fill your own sandbag and bring your own shovel. Okay? And some of the other municipalities will talk about their sandbag operations. One other change that came at 11 o'clock today is we were under a tropical storm watch. They have advanced us to a tropical storm warning. So Chatham County is in a tropical storm warning through the remainder of this event. So we want to make sure that everybody is diligent and watching that warning. Whether they put us into a hurricane watch is to be determined, but we are in a warning, and that came at about 11 o'clock today. All right. I want to talk about some preparedness efforts specifically related to Chatham County. Our public safety departments, which is 911, CCPD, or our police department, our fire department, our county narcotics team, they have increased staffing, they've adjusted their personnel schedule, and they are ready for the response operations for tomorrow and Thursday. They've also, they've inspected all vehicles and equipment to ensure response, and they are ready to go at a moment's notice. From our engineering department, there was a meeting scheduled for State Route 204 corridor. It was an open house. They have rescheduled that from Thursday. They have not set a new date yet, but the date or the meeting for State Route 204 corridor public open house has been rescheduled for a later date. The Betts Creek culvert replacement on Penwaller Road, that meeting has also been postponed. It's been postponed until September 30th. And they're also working with all of our construction sites in the unincorporated county to make sure that they are ready to secure items and also alter traffic if they need to. For mosquito control, they have suspended insecticide applications between Thursday morning and Saturday morning, so there'll be no insecticide applications between that time frame. Our public works, we are out checking hot spots in the area, checking ditches that are known to flood, cleaning all the tide gates, checking the canals, and also the other countywide effort, unincorporated county efforts, county locations that are prone to flooding. Countywide efforts, we've got other departments that are preparing all of our facilities and our vehicles to weather the storm. Many staff members across county departments will be operating from the county's Emergency Operations Center. We are activating that at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll be running 24-hour ops until the storm abates. And other than that, the rest of the county departments are ready to react to the storm should it have a negative impact to Chatham County, and we stand ready to support all of the municipalities as well as any partners throughout the community. Okay. So with that, I'd like to bring up Dr. Denise Watts to talk about the Board of Education.
Thank you, and thank you to this group who has prioritized our most prized asset in the county and in the city, our students. As you all have heard, that the track of Tropical Storm Helene is expected to create some unsafe conditions for our students Thursday evening into Friday morning. In addition to the rainfall, the wind is what is bringing us the most concern, specifically as it relates to how we transport over 20,000 students to and from school each day. So today I'd like to announce 2 changes in school operations. The first change is for Thursday. Thursday will be an early release day for Savannah Chatham County Public School System. That is to ensure that there are no dangers as we think about students getting home and our employees getting home Thursday into the evening. This will also allow our families and staff time to prepare. So again, the operations on Thursday includes an early release day for students on Thursday. Instructions for staff about remote work will be coming separately in a different email later this afternoon. Once again, Thursday, we will operate on a half day for students. Friday, we will be shifting into recovery mode. So we will be on a remote learning schedule on Friday. So there will be no in-person classes for our students on Friday. We will be going to an e-learning or remote learning environment. All of our schools will be prepared today and tomorrow to be issuing technology, making sure our students are familiar with the learning platforms and how to access tasks online. On Friday, our employees will also be in a remote work environment. If you are essential staff on Friday, you will be getting separate communication from your direct manager a little bit later today. So again, just to recapture this, on Thursday, we will be in a half-day learning, and Friday, we will be all-day remote work and remote learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Watts. We've got some municipalities who would like to make some announcements. We'll call them up in this order: City of Savannah, City of Pooler, City of Port Wentworth, and the City of Tybee Island. City of Savannah.
Thank you again, Dennis, and thank you for your leadership, Mr. Chairman, to all of our partners here. I'm going to give some general updates and then ask City Manager Jay Melder to give some operational updates. I have declared a state of emergency for the City of Savannah. Of course, this allows our government to activate the emergency operations plan and ensure that we have the needed services during this entire event. There is no curfew associated with the state of emergency, and we're not considering one at this time. The city will be providing sand and sandbags today. They will be limited to 10 bags per resident, and I think it's been said that we don't provide shovels, we don't provide the manpower, and particularly what I noticed last time was that we had a lot of seniors out there. So if you're older, or if you're infirm or have issues, then ask somebody to come with you and help you. The sand can get quite heavy. Sand will be available today from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., depending on the weather. And it will be in the parking lot next to the End Market Arena, 1100 West Gwinnett Street. We also encourage residents to prepare for higher winds and flooding. We've talked about this before, and Dennis has lifted up the issue of high winds that might occur during the night. Understand what your storm risks are. We know this is our busy time of the year, so if you live on the coast or inland, this storm is going to impact you in some way. Make sure that you have an emergency plan for you, your family. Make sure to look out for your seniors, our seniors. Make sure you look out for your fur babies as well. Make sure you have a plan with that. Check with employers for continuity plans. Know whether you're working, not working, or if it's changed. Make sure that you have your updated insurance information, which this is very important as well, and the proper documentation. Please help us by decluttering drains and gutters and securing outside items. Make sure your cell batteries are charged, and consider purchasing a backup battery, and gather the supplies you may need in case of a power outage. Also, medications are very, very important, so make sure you have an adequate supply of medications as well during this period. So we appreciate, again, the partnership If you have any questions from us, you can go to savannahga.gov/Storm Helene, savannahga.gov/Storm STORM HELENE. Mr. Melder.
Thank you, Mayor. Jay Melder, City Manager of the City of Savannah. We are preparing just like our county partners and our municipal partners in 3 ways. 1, preparedness, 2, response, and 3, recovery. So just to let you know what's going to be happening and has been happening for the last couple of days, our stormwater crews are out with our back trucks. We have extra back trucks in the area, and we're going through and cleaning all of our catchment basins and preparing for the stormwater that's going to come. Our park and tree and our sanitation are going to be out today and tomorrow until it's safe, and they'll be back out Friday to make sure that we're picking up your garbage and that we're preparing our city and our trees for the storm and the winds that come. Of course, when the storm starts to hit Thursday, police and fire are fully staffed, and they'll be out on the street through the whole event. And as soon as it passes, all of our crews will be out picking up our city and making sure it's ready for a beautiful weekend and helping any resident in need after the storm passes. Again, we're not anticipating any changes to our sanitation schedules at this time. We're not expecting any changes to our park and tree, our other scheduled maintenance and operation of city facilities at this time either. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would like to personally thank Director Jones with SEMA, Chairman Ellis from our county, and all of my fellow municipality leaders as we continue to work together as we endure these storms that we have had recently. I know that each one of us appreciates the guidance that we are all receiving, so thank you very much. The City of Pooler, in an effort to be responsive and proactive, we are offering sandbags at our Rogers Street Recreation Department from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. tonight. We'll see how that goes, whether we need to do it an extra day or not, depends on the amount of people that come out and whether we see the need is there. Again, as described by Director Jones, this may not be a large stormwater event, but this is a precautionary measure from the City of Pooler. And keep in mind, those sandbags are good if you keep them dry for years, so I wouldn't get rid of them. I would keep them. We're still in hurricane season for a while. We have another one out in the ocean, so we'll see what happens with that. And with that, I would like to turn over to my City Manager, Heath Lloyd, for some operational updates.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon. I want to add a couple of comments to what the mayor said and really talk about the preparation efforts for the City of Pooler. First, I want to echo that the address for the sandbags, again, from 2 to 8 is 900 South Rogers Street. So that's where we're giving out the sandbags. And then I want to talk a little bit about what we've been doing for the last 48 hours. So for the last 48 hours, our public works crews have been out and about in the streets, again, looking at those flood-prone areas to be proactive and try to get ahead of this storm. Our public safety folks, they have been preparing as well. And it's important to note for the City of Pooler that our public safety folks, they are actually helping out with the sandbag operation. So it's an all-hands-on-deck type of experience for the City of Pooler. And we have a lot of things that we're continuing to work as we prepare for this storm. So, thank you.
Good afternoon. Mayor Pro Tem Gabrielle Nelson, City of Port Wentworth. Just want to announce that we do have sandbags available. We have the sandbags. We do not provide the shovels. Please bring a shovel or something to scoop out the 2 locations for the sand this afternoon. Our festival site, which is downtown at 317 Cantyre Street in Port Wentworth. Our second location is our Port Wentworth Fire Department, station number 2. The address there is 6781 Highway 21. Again, the sandbags are available. They've been available since early this morning, as well as the sand. We just need you to bring your shovel or something to scoop with. As everyone has mentioned previously, our Public Works Department, as well as our fire and police, are prepared and
we're ready to see this through together. Thank you.
I also want to thank Dennis with SEMA and the chairman for bringing us all together for this effort. On the city of Tybee, we are concerned about erosion. We have a 1 to 3 foot storm surge coming in, and we've already experienced a significant amount of beach erosion this past summer, and we expect more during this storm. So we'll be watching that closely. We have taken all mobile devices off the beach, including lifeguard stands. We have sandbags available in Memorial Park. We also have sandbags, the sand, and limited number of shovels available for use. Be sure to show your proof of Tybee residency if you are coming to get sand. City operations update. Despite these challenges, I want to assure you that everyone is planning to have a full day of operations within the city itself, and so the city will be open. We encourage our residents to stay informed and take necessary precautions because safety is our top priority. We are closely working with emergency services and local agencies to respond effectively and to keep our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we get away from the municipal updates, I do want to recognize the mayor of Garden City, Mayor Campbell. He is with us today. So when we get into the question and answer, if you have any questions for Garden City, he'll be able to answer those. Next, I'd like to invite up Mr. William Mock from Georgia Power. As everybody knows, power is always a critical issue during any storm event, so I'd like Mr. Mock to come up and talk a little bit about Georgia Power's efforts.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I just want to mention that Georgia Power is very actively monitoring the development of the storm and are preparing personnel and resources to respond should potential power outages occur. We've already heard the system is very large and it may impact communities across our state. We're in touch with response partners, including local and state governments, as well as our other regional utilities. We're prepared to respond to outages safely and as quickly as possible when conditions allow us to do so. I would encourage you to stay informed. georgiapower.com/storm for the latest information, safety tips, and to report or check the outage status. You can also download the Georgia Power app for quick access to storm and outage along with restoration information. Safety is very important. Please remember never to approach downed power lines. Do not attempt to move them. Please contact Georgia Power immediately if you see a downed or low-hanging power line. And our team is committed to providing outstanding response as soon as conditions allow us to do so. Thank you.
And wrapping up our speakers before I turn it back over to the chairman, we've got Dr. Sierra Peoples from the Public Health Department, Chatham County Public Health Department. She'd like to offer a few comments.
Thank you, Director Jones. Thank you, folks that are here today. Just from the public health standpoint, we just want to send a few reminders out to the community. Like Mayor Johnson said already, for medications, if you do have a medication that you take daily, please ensure that you have a good quantity with you. If you need a refill, do that now, not when the storm arrives. Additionally, if you are dependent on electricity for your health, please ensure that you have backup methods available, whether that be a battery pack or an alternate place to go. As well, we're not expecting that this should be a large flood event, but if you are in a low-lying area, please do not go through standing water, especially if you have any break in your skin, on your feet, and your legs. These flood waters can be filled with bacteria that can get in your bloodstream and make you very sick. We are expecting some power outages with this storm, obviously. Please ensure that you are not opening your refrigerator or your freezers. Keep those closed so it can maintain temperature for as long as possible. If your power is out longer than 4 hours, it's a good idea to throw that food out from the refrigerator. Longer than 8 hours for the freezer, because it can cause foodborne illness.
Let me just say, on yesterday, the command policy group, we met by phone, 6 p.m. yesterday. The governor sent down his state of emergency. And so as of this morning at 8 a.m., all of Chatham County, right, all municipalities in all of Chatham County that's under state of emergency. And what that does is that allows all the government entities to work together to get what our citizens need. But we need citizens' cooperation with what's going on. And I want to call your attention especially to going into evening on Thursday and early Friday morning. Those are times we're asking you to be extremely cautious, all right, because they call it the right front quadrant that we are going to be in, which is prone for tornadoes. And you know tornadoes come swiftly, all right, and they do damage in a hurry. And so we want everyone to prepare for those particular hours. That's why we bounced off of the school board exactly what they were going to do and let it govern the rest of us and our employees. Each department will be getting with employees from both the cities and the counties, all right, because we will go into a phase where we will have only essential workers out because of power lines being down or trees falling or other damages that can cause, and we don't want to put anyone in harm's way, all right? As you can see, we're dealing with multiple things at the same time. Okay, we're trying to get things ready for the storm that is coming, but we're trying to clean up from the storm that has passed. And so we need to make sure that citizens understand and can get in touch with us. And please, if there is something going on, please call the emergency numbers that we have for you, including the city. 311 will be up?
Yes, sir.
All right, including 311. And even if you're in the county and you call 311, they can get you over to the county, all right? Because we want to make sure that no one gets in a position where you step in water you shouldn't, or you step on power lines you shouldn't. And let us assess. We're going to be early Friday morning assessing what damages have occurred after this has passed. But we are going to need to have that information from the National Weather Service. So the EOC is up and running, and it will be, and in fact, it has been up and running since yesterday, right? And we're constantly getting those updates. And we'll be reminded until the emergency, state of emergency will be in effect until 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. Okay, so we still, even, there may be some things that we need to clean up Saturday and Sunday. So please, ma'am, please, sir, govern yourselves accordingly and make yourself and your surroundings safe, all right? Now, with that, if you have any questions for anyone, you can call them, and we'll answer you. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask something
Okay.
quick, please?
Sure.
I meant to, the Savannah City Council meets tomorrow. Our workshop is at 12, and our meeting's at 2. Those meetings are still occurring. We will not be long.
City Council still on. Yes, ma'am.
With Chatham County Schools remote on Friday, is that going to affect high school sports, specifically like football games at all on Friday night?
Probably not, no. But I can get specific information, and thank you for that question. I do encourage people to stay on top of pivots and changes by going to our website, www.sccpss. You will find the halftime mark for elementary, middle, and high school, so you can also get information about athletics as well. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are cities prepared to open up any emergency shelters in the case of anyone getting power outages for long periods of time? I know that was a thing of Debbie, so.
Yeah, well, the city and the county are prepared for that. All right, we have sustaining partners that we can put those shelters in place in case we need them. That's a part of our preparation that we're going through. That's a part of our decision-making. And remember now, we're making these decisions as we go because the weather is changing as we go. And so, yes, there will be places that if we need to help folks who are in distress, we will have shelters and things open. And I imagine the city will be in the same posture.
Yes, sir.
The city and the county will be, throughout the county, will be in that same posture.
And if those shelters do become available, where should people look to know when that information is coming out?
If we're in a position where we have to open up a shelter, it'll be widely publicized through public information outlets such as those represented today, communicated through social media, communicated across radio networks. So we'll widely get it out, but that will be done at the time because there's a lot of prep effort that has to go into effect in order to get that shelter open. But if we have to do that, we'll announce it through all the methods that are available to us.
What's best recommendations safety-wise for those, we talked to a couple families that still are struggling a lot in their homes, a lot of safety concerns still in their homes from Debbie, as potentially more water and strong winds come to their homes, safety-wise, what's the best tips for folks still recovering?
Well, we certainly want anybody who feels unsafe at the time. If they have an emergency situation, they need to call 911. During the height of the storm, if there are conditions out there that warrant us to keep public safety personnel off the street for their own safety, we'll have to do that. But we certainly want anybody who feels unsafe to call 911 to make sure that we can get some resources out to them if they need it.
And from that emergency standpoint, what is the threshold sort of when it might no longer be safe for those emergency crews to get over to a home, just so families can understand that from that first responder
We
perspective?
generally look at the arrival of sustained winds of tropical storm strength, which is 39 miles an hour. So when we reach sustained strength of 39-mile-an-hour winds, we evaluate it on an hour-by-hour basis. And if we determine that the winds are such severity and coming from a particular direction that we need to pull public safety off the street, we'll do that. Of course, there's a lot of discretion from each of the police chiefs and fire chiefs as well to do that, but that's generally the target. That's when we really start looking at it more closely and really doing that hour by hour, sometimes 30 minutes by 30-minute evaluation to make that determination.
And people who are in unincorporated parts of the county, is there going to be any difference for them if they need emergency responses or services or anything like that?
I mean, both the county police force and the fire department, all right, are activated right now along with the EOC Center. So if we need to take John boats and go get them, we will. All right, if we need to send the high boy, that's what I call it now. My name is high boy for that big old truck you go up and get on, all right, and get them out. And so anyone who's in distress, all right, we ask that you call 911 and we can get the appropriate response to you. And that's whether you're in the city of Savannah, Pooler, Bloomingdale, Port Wentworth, wherever, and unincorporated Chatham as well.
And any efforts for the unhoused populations in some of these cities to kind of get them into shelters or anything like that? Any the homeless population?
Oh, yeah, we're constantly working with the Homeless Authority, all right, and they're part of what we do and what we say, and we all still take it through SEMA. And the reason we take it through SEMA is because if we have to go and ask for the declaration like we just got from the president, like we got from the governor, all right, those things can be covered. We need to put extra staff or extra manpower in place, then we're covered in that area. So there will be a time when we're going to ask those who are homeless to find their way to a shelter so that they could be, because I'm not saying that we may get a tornado, but we are prone to, because we are sitting on that right side quadrant, and that's where, that quadrant is where those things normally take up and come up. And so we want to get everyone we can, including our homeless population, we want to get everybody we can into shelters, and the shelter is your home, all right, and get them off the street, as well as there will even come a time if we get to the point where GDOT needs to close the bridge, all right, with those sustained winds and things, they will shut down the bridge. But right now, okay, as we are talking, and as we haven't had that as an item agenda, but it is on the agenda, but it's not the top priority that's on the agenda. All right, any other questions? Anybody want to make any finals? We all good? All right, let me all thank you again, and we hope you can get the word out to the public, okay? Now is the time to start preparing. Now is the time to start knowing that when the school system turns out tomorrow at half day, Pray that you know that your kids are coming, so you make preparations for them, and so we have things in place. Again, thank you all for coming, and please help us get the word out. Everybody be safe, okay? Thank you.
Oh, I went Friday door knocking. But you're coming in November. We'll both be doing it in November, but I went Friday.
A portion of the American Rescue Plan Act funding is allocated to address Chatham County drainage and stormwater issues. There are 7 projects totaling more than $5.6 million. They include $600,000 for Burnside Island, $1.5 million for the Hardin Canal, $900,000 for Isle of Hope, $300,000 for the Marshall Branch Canal, $1.2 million for the One Chatham Stormwater Program, $500,000 for the Sapelo Road Betts Creek Culvert replacement, and $694,000 for stormwater in Willow Lakes.
Hopefully, these drainage projects will help the residents that are having the flooding issues. It'll help them get to their houses, or maybe keep their houses from being flooded.
Hydraulic models are consistently updated by county engineers to identify and assess flood-prone areas and those impacted by sea level rise.
We always have to start at the low end and kind of work our way up, because if you do the projects at the upper end, then you're going to flood people downstream. So these are